Welcome courtside alongside former Marist standout Julianne Vianney-Brain. My name is Chris Lewis. What a matchup we have here. Fordham, the breakout team of the A-10 this year. VCU currently in first place, separated by just one game. Fascinating matchup.
Two of the best teams in the league right now. I mean, the VCU Rams. Now we got two Rams here. We're gonna have to work with that. But VCU Rams, 5 battles to win this war is what Coach Mike Rhodes has been telling his guys. So they are that close to an A-10 regular season conference championship. And of course, Fordham has had a whale of a season. The surprise hottest team in the league. You could not ask for a better matchup here.
It's a fun matchup. These teams have met quite a bit in the past, but it's been mostly VCU in the series history. 13th meeting, VCU leads at 11-1. In fact, the only win that Fordham's had in the series comes back at home in 2017. But this is a different Fordham team under Keith Ergo in his first year. They are eclipsing a lot of milestones that they haven't had in quite some time. The second most wins already for a first-year head coach. Digger Phelps has the Fordham record back in 1971 with 26. On the VCU side, Mike Rhodes, another excellent year for the VCU Rams, who come in 10-3 in conference. Underway at the Siegel Center with Fordham, the game's opening possession. Both teams pressure and aggressive on defense, and right out of the gate, VCU gets a steal. They lead the Atlantic 10 at nearly 9 steals per game. Reverse layup in transition for Nick Kern Jr. to break the seal.
VCU plays really fast. They've got a ton of athletes on their squad. A great start out of the gate.
So Fordham, 21 wins. Most since the 1990-91 team won 25 games. Ball out of bounds, it'll stay here. But Nick Kern got the scoring started for VCU.
VCU is going to be this type of game. They're going to be looking to turn you over the whole day and then run and get opportunities in transition. And this is just really unselfish basketball, so a tremendous start. I think both teams, both coaches told us, Chris, they want to take care of the ball today because of this.
Nick Kern lays it in. He wanted the foul call. Will settle for the steal and score, and VCU true to form. Couple of forced turnovers.
And Nick Kern getting the start today. They're going a little small to start with this lineup. They're going to be changing that, and this is a VCU team that can go big or small.
Nowitzki double teamed. One of 2 bigs primarily used for Fordham. Throws it on the baseline, and it belongs to VCU. You see over the last 5 games, VCU continuing their trend of forcing turnovers. Perhaps the biggest standout on that is their turnovers committed, fewer than 10 per game.
Yeah, it's been huge, especially lately. And Mike Rhodes told us this morning, listen, we didn't do it as well in the beginning of the season, but as of late, we've really taken care of the basketball and forced teams into turning it over. That's been a key.
Michigan transfer Brandon Johns Jr. off the mark with the left. Fordham controls. Moore glides to the rim and gets fouled. Khalid Moore, who's a transfer from Georgia Tech, will head to the free throw line.
And remember, this Fordham Rams team also likes to play fast. They like to force turnovers as well. They want to kind of muck it up against teams. So I think this matchup should be interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of people at the foul line as well.
VCU in particular, 23% of their points come from the free throw line, the 7th highest rate. Fordham shoots the best percentage from the line in the A-10 at 75%, including Khalid Moore, who's a 76% free throw shooter. Coach Mike Rhodes, 6th year at VCU. Rams looking for their 3rd A-10 regular season title. Their first since 2019. They're in first place, a half game up on Dayton.
And they're really taking it one game at a time. We did ask them about that this morning, and that's what you've got to do.
Welcome to the Siegel Center here in Richmond, Virginia. Tough bucket inside by the headliner for VCU, Ace Baldwin Jr. Fouled by Darius Quisenberry from Fordham. It's Rams versus Rams here on USA.
Look at this backdoor cut by Ace Baldwin Jr. Just a terrific job getting there, reading the defense, and then the nice pass. And we're going to be saying that young man's name quite a bit, I think, today. As he goes, this team goes.
With former Maristan, now Julianne Vianney-Brain, Chris Lewis here. Fordham, the breakout team in the Atlantic 10. A surprising 9-4 in league play. They have 21 wins this season, which is the most that they've had since the 1991 season.
An incredible year from Fordham under Keith Ergo in his first season at the helm.
They're a game back of first place. The team in first, VCU. Charlton pull up free throw line, too strong, and Jameer Watkins getting the start in this game. Pulls in the rebound. Watkins getting the start. Jalen Deloach, injured in the last game against Rhode Island. He's available for VCU, just not in the starting lineup. Rostik Levinsky picks up the foul there, his first, and the team's second.
You see real quickly there, Ace Baldwin Jr. getting the double team. We're going to see quite a bit of double teaming. We saw them working on that at shoot around this morning, and he's used to getting a ton of pressure from teams. But he's got a lot of weapons around him that can score.
Kern with the left hand strong. And what a start for Nick Kern. Only averages 4 points per game. He is 6 of the VCU 9.
He got the start today. They were trying to go a little smaller in terms of the matchups, and he's really proving himself early.
More cut off by Kern into travel. So Kern doing it on both ends. The sophomore from St. Louis.
Nick Kern, so good off the bounce. A nice drive here for the land. So many players that can go downhill for VCU, and then the defense just staying in front, getting his hands in there. He's definitely locked in.
Kyle Rose for Fordham in, pressuring Baldwin. That's a fun matchup. Rose, the best perimeter defender for Fordham. Baldwin, the top ball handler and scorer for VCU. Kern again! Ups the start here at home.
And you gotta love Ace Baldwin's ability to penetrate. You play with a point guard like him, you better be expected. And Kern has been ready.
7 straight for VCU. Quisenberry deep three. A bit short. Baldwin fires it ahead. Guess who? Kern. This time cut off.
Now you see how quickly VCU gets it up the floor off of a rebound.
Johns draws a double. Kern open in the corner. Doesn't see him until it was too late. From the Rams. Oh, Fordham.
2 different Rams, Chris. We're going to be going back and forth with that one.
It's funny because you have VCU coming off of a buzzer beater win against Rhode Island. Also the Rams.
3 Rams in the A-10. What's going on?
We'll stay with Fordham. There's a look at VCU, what they've done over the last 15 games. Their offense has taken a leap. Although we were talking with Coach Mike Rose, he said really over the last couple of weeks,
These last 2 games, especially.
The last 2 games, the team hasn't been hitting the open shots that it feels like they could. And it's kind of been the difference between their scoring being down, especially in that game against Rhode Island.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. They're finding ways to squeak wins out, and their January was phenomenal. They shot so well. They had a lot of assists, and they were making a lot of kick-out threes. That's where they've struggled the last 2 games. Low-scoring affair, too, on Wednesday at Rhode Island. Just not a lot of offense. So just looking to turn the corner here. Sold-out crowd here. Homecoming. It's the place to do it.
Antrell Charlton for Fordham ends the 7-0 run.
And that was a much-needed bucket for Fordham. It's not easy to come in here and get punched in the face early.
Nunn, step back, wants 3. Front of the rim, gets it back. A whistle, though, on the opposite end, and it's a foul called on VCU's Jameer Watkins. Nick Kern with a strong start. VCU had the strong start. Nick Kern ended up only averaging 4 points. He started the last 10.
He got the start, yep.
Yeah, after coming off the bench the first 16 games of the year. He's found his scoring rhythm in the early going.
He really has been just great. 8 points right now. He's come out really ready and strong, and they're finding him. And boy, there are so many weapons on this VCU team, and that's been a huge attribute for Mike Rhodes' squad. Is it's hard to just cover one person. You might be able to double team Ace Baldwin and make it hard for him, but his ability to pass and their ability to get other guys involved is what makes them so tough. You've got a bunch of players that average 8+ points per game and 15+ minutes a game. And that goes with the kind of style that Mike Rhodes wants to play. They want to full court pressure you the whole game and get enough subs in to be able to do that.
Well, that pressure forces another turnover for a team that year after year is near the top of the country in forced turnover rate. Kern finds Zep Jackson, one of 2 Michigan transfers.
Nice.
Gets banged in traffic. Simbila on defense for Fordham gets the stop. Charlton on the outlet. Lay it with the left too strong. Chase up a rebound. Saved. Put to VCU. Jackson leads the break. Kern swatted. Simbila the block shot. VCU controls. For a moment, a little too much havoc there as they throw it away.
Frenetic pace here from VCU, but you gotta love the fast pace, the energy, nice passing here, and that's just tremendous defense by Simbila, just getting there.
Simbila, second in the Atlantic 10 in blocks, coming in 1.8 blocks a contest. He plays off the bench, although he started earlier on this season. Nowitzki is now the starting center. Clock at just 7, poked by Baldwin. Active hands as always, and Kern is fouled in the backcourts. Khalid Moore picks up the foul, his first. Every dribble seems to be contested.
And, you know, that's kind of what you expect in a game like this. 2 teams that want to muck it up, make it messy, be very physical. You see the full court pressure here on Ace Baldwin to try to make it difficult for him to see. If you're all over him, he can't make the passes that he typically likes to make.
A couple of times been named the Atlantic 10 Player of the Week. He scored 37, Baldwin, against St. Louis earlier in the month. Schreiber from the corner, the sharpshooter off back rim. Another offensive rebound for VCU.
Well, those are the kickouts that can really come to haunt you if you're Fordham. The extra possessions for VCU to give them the extra chances to score are just huge. That's why rebounding is going to be such a key stat to follow throughout this game.
You mentioned that battle of the possessions at VCU, a rebounding margin pretty much even on the year. They get their extra possessions because of their forced turnovers. And the officials are going to go to the monitor to take a look. I know Charlton took exception of Baldwin and his elbow going a bit high there after the foul was called.
Yeah, they're going to take a look. An official review here.
Sean Hall, Tip Lomer, Ryan Sassino, the 3 officials.
We're looking here at, I think if this was
right there,
something, yes, the elbow. So I think they're going to call something here.
The officials are done looking, given the explanation. I think in a soccer term, kind of the warning to Ace Baldwin, not necessarily going to call a flagrant on that, just, hey, watch it next time.
Right. Which it didn't go at his head. It didn't do anything of that nature. So I like that they kind of just warned him and moved on.
That's going to be a fun matchup to watch throughout.
It's going to be fun. And, you know, that was a frustration move there from Baldwin because he's really being blanketed.
One of the top guards in the Atlantic 10, Yuri Collins for St. Louis, the nation's leader in assists. Held to just 1 dime, being defended by Rose, who commits the foul of Jalen DeLoach, who's coming in off the bench in this game, delivers the hammer.
So many players that can score. DeLoach, another one, terrific pass and just throw down from him. We didn't know if we would see him today because Wednesday he hurt his knee, and he typically starts. And coming off the bench here today, he has been such a steady player all season.
Can't complete the three-point play. Coach Mike Rhodes told us seemed like an immaculate recovery. The way it was scary. He was on crutches after that game against Rhode Island.
They did an MRI and they looked at everything, and he was okay.
Ready to go. Just one game later. Loose ball foul. We'll keep the ball here. First foul on David Schreiber. Actually, they're going to get Zeb Jackson on that personal, so Jackson is first. Fordham stuck on 4. VCU's defense sturdy early. Nowitzki, wrestling match with Deloach, and it's a travel.
That's just one-on-one basketball right there. You see Deloach here, he's definitely, I think that's a foul, to be honest. That should have been a foul on Deloach. They really are letting them play. He's reaching in quite a bit.
That's 7 turnovers already for Fordham. Just 4 points. Lob to Jackson. Like a receiver with a great catch. Tried to throw it off to Nowitzki. Quisenberry on the run. Leading scorer, Darius Quisenberry at 17 points per game. 6 in the Atlantic 10. Elijah Gray, the freshman from Charlotte, draws the contact.
And that's the way for Fordham to really get themselves going. Get yourselves to the free throw line, attack the rim, try to manufacture points that way, because they're struggling to get points here each possession.
First foul on Baldwin. Elijah Gray to Hargrave Military, freshman out of Charlotte. A 64% free throw shooter. Couple of changes for VCU. Brandon Johns Jr. back in. A grad transfer from Michigan who's provided quite a lift for Coach Mike Rhodes. 1 of 2 for Gray.
This Fordham team has found that their chemistry this season has just been really good, Chris, which has helped them. A lot of guys that have just fit the puzzle and played well together.
Big collision right in the lane, and it's an offensive foul. Brandon Johns gets called.
And Nowitzki here gets good position. You see he's playing behind, but he's above the restricted line. He really sells it, does a nice job there.
So Nowitzki's been involved in a couple of those either-or type plays down low.
Well, he's got good position and good footwork.
So Fordham, one of the great stories in college basketball this year, a team that only had 2 winning seasons since joining the Atlantic 10 back in 1995. They started the year 12-1. Their only loss in that stretch was to number 10 Arkansas.
But they didn't play a great non-conference schedule, so nobody knew, hey, are they going to be good this season in conference play? And they've been solid.
They dropped 3 of their first 4 in the A-10. Since then, they've won 8 of 9.
Huge credit to Keith Ergo and what he's done. He learned a lot from Coach Jay Wright at Villanova. We'll get into his history at some point, but he's brought that winning accountability to Fordham, and they've really bought in.
You can see the receipts. That first 20-win season. In Keith Ergo's first year as the head coach, he was the associate coach last year under Kyle Neptune, who left for the Villanova job. Keith Ergo promoted. And he's really harped on that Villanova connection. Pat Chambers, another guy that he followed from Villanova to Penn State.
And they've all weaved back here to Fordham, right?
Johns, a little too much shoulder, and that's another offensive foul on VCU's big.
Yeah, that's certainly a problem for Brandon Johns here. And he's somebody they want in the game. And Richardson here, see, he takes position as well. He does a good job maintaining his position. He's a smaller player. And that's 2 fouls pretty quickly.
So he heads to the bench. Deloach comes back in. Already 6 fouls, both of these teams. We expected a lot of fouls, a lot of free throws with the style of playing, a pressure defense.
And you know, we've talked so much defense on VCU, and Fordham has been just as good throughout the season. They've held opponents below their scoring average in 6 of the last 8 games. And the refs are calling it tight here.
Deloach too aggressive on that hedge.
See Deloach here. Yeah, he barely touches Quisenberry there.
Quisenberry will head to the line. He gets there quite a bit. You can see his point tally. Over 2,000 points. In fact, the last time he was in Richmond for a game against the Spiders, he went over the 2,000 career point mark.
He can score.
There's a scorer at Youngstown State for 3 years. Second year putting up buckets for the Fordham Rams. First in the 1-and-1. His 133rd game. See there, the A-10's active leading scorer.
He was a 2-time All-Horizon League selection when he was at Youngstown State. So this is a grad player who's got a lot of experience, a lot of game time experience. He's a leader floor general that can really put numbers up.
Baldwin draws the big out, sets up none. Free throw line, Jay halfway down. Every rebound in this game contested, and last touch by Fordham. Here in Richmond, both teams showing off their defensive strengths to start.
In the first half especially, it was really sloppy, and Coach Mike Rhodes told us before the game that they just found a way to put it together in the second half and come out with the win. And going into that game, he told us, listen, we've got 6 battles to win the war. And the war means win a regular season championship. And they just had that in the back of their minds to win that battle, and they pulled it out.
Well, that game kept them 1 game ahead of 3 teams in the Atlantic 10. So the battles, 5 left to win the war. Another battle against the Rams here. Fordham scrapping again, just 1 made field goal, but within 6. Quisenberry fires a 3, shorts, and VCU's Ace Baldwin on the rebound.
I think rebounding has been really solid here from VCU.
Jameer Watkins triggers, halfway down, gets his own board. Quadruple team that gets rid of it.
Yeah, they're leaving Fordham to 1 and done, and then they're getting multiple possessions.
Simbila swats it.
Great defense.
Quisenberry, 17 points per game to lead Fordham. Charlton leads the squad in assists. To the corner, sharpshooter Will Richardson, the first long ball for Fordham.
Yeah, so needed because so many shots have been so close and 1 and dones for Fordham. And if they can get some opportunities in transition to knock down some perimeter shots like that, they'll get some easy looks.
Richardson's a 41% three-point shooter. A freshman from Teaneck, New Jersey. Kern stepped on the end line. So a VCU turnover. Meanwhile, Fordham with Abdou Simbila, part of their defense that leads the Atlantic 10 in blocks.
5 blocks per game, and much of that because of him, Chris. But 7.5 steals per game. They've just been really constant on that end of the floor. You can always bring your defense. You're going to have nights where you're off offensively. These are 2 teams that have been bringing it on the defensive end.
VCU's won 3 of 4. Fordham's won 8 of 9. 2 red-hot A-10 teams squaring off. Moore, weight room against Shriver. Pivots. Simbila, it was kicked before it got to him. Jalen Deloach kicked it, which will reset the shot clock.
Coach Urgo telling us that this is a team that just always wants to be in the gym. They hustle. He never has to teach the extra shots. They're always in there. They're wanting to win.
Right, JVB, the word
proud, kind of came to mind talking to both of these coaches, really proud of the job that the players have done throughout this season as Quisenberry gets called for the push-off there. Turnover on Fordham. It's actually Sabila, gets the foul on the screen.
Yeah, but you're right. It's straight hustle and heart between both these teams. And I think these two coaching styles go hand in hand in that regard is that you're constantly teaching the guys to be able to fit into your style of play. And that's competitiveness, that everyday worker. That's what Mike Rhodes always tells his guys, that he recruits that way. And Keith Urgo has a standard of excellence thing that he also preaches to his players. And they buy in.
Baldwin is fouled by Richardson. Again, there's no dribble in this game that goes uncontested. 1-1 coming up for VCU. Take a look at the A10 standings, top 5. VCU half game ahead of Dayton. A win would keep them 1 game ahead of the pace. Meanwhile, Fordham looking to join Dayton at 10-4. And if Fordham wins this game, it'll be at least a 3-way tie atop the A10, depending on what St. Louis does.
And all of this helps in the A10 tournament coming in Brooklyn, where you get seeded a little bit better. And so both these teams want to finish this regular season out strong.
Top 4 teams in the A10 get that double bye.
It's huge.
In the conference tournament in Brooklyn. Of course, the second round of the quarterfinals here on USA.
Yeah, we'll be there. And it is the most competitive, fun tournament. And this year, this league is beating up on each other.
Steal for VCU. Watkins glides. Tip back up and through. Jaden Nunn follows the shot.
Yeah, it's just such a nice play. And Jaden Nunn just hanging around the rim. This is a really long, athletic, quick VCU team.
A foul on the sideline. That press. You see the pros and the cons. The steal and then the foul.
Yeah, great defense. The defense leading to offense. The transition bucket. The hustle after it. You've got to love Jaden Nunn just being there to tap it in. But all of that starts on the defensive end. That's where VCU gets all their energy and their steam.
In this conference, some great defensive teams, more front end. And they do it different ways. Like VCU with their pressing. Yeah, Fordham, their aggressive defense. Dayton is a great defensive team in this league, and they do it with their length with Kamara and Holmes. And the half court, it's nearly impossible to score against them. And they'll all come together in Brooklyn to decide which one's best.
Beat it out. That's right. It's gonna be a battle.
Each team 18 fouls already. Still 9 minutes to play in the first half. None, no. Quisenberry skies. Quisenberry without a field goal in this game. A couple of points from the line. Looking to get back there. Oh, what a block shot. A combined effort. Watkins will get credit for it, but that was basically half the defense for VCU on that one.
Nothing has come easy for Quisenberry. It's been difficult for him to get downhill.
And that's a turnover on VCU, although Baldwin says, wait a minute. I was clearly hit by Fordham.
And you see here Quisenberry just trying to get to the hole and just cannot do it. And you see Jaden Nunn all over that basketball. And then at the other end, just a hand in there defensively to force the turnover. It's been sloppy here for both teams.
Split through the double team. Charlton gets it up. Nowitzki on the follow.
And one of the easier shots of the day we've seen for Fordham.
Just 3 field goals for Fordham. Baldwin fires a 3.
And hopefully that can get Baldwin going. We mentioned he struggled the past couple of games. Last 2 games he went 6 of 31 from the field. Before that St. Louis performance where he had 37 points on February 3rd.
Richardson, the answer is true. So back-to-back threes for a game that was looking for some offense.
He can really shoot the three. If he is any room and you're not there on the catch, Richardson's so smooth with his three.
Nearly 50% from three over his last 9 games.
You cannot even give him a step.
Baldwin, not this time. Rose corrals the rebound. Charlton into the front court. Whip to Richardson again on a three. Oh, yeah.
And up in transition, that's what happens. The defense is scrambling, and suddenly the teams are tied here. But Fordham doing a good job pushing it.
First time this game's been tied. A whistle. And they didn't get a clear indication on the call as they go back to the huddle with a timeout. We'll get it when we return. They call the foul on Nowitzki for Fordham.
And the best time to make a three is when the defense is scrambling in transition, and Will Richardson knocks it down to tie this one up.
Both teams are the Rams. Both teams have 20 points. Just under 7 minutes to go, opening half. Fordham down as many as 9 early. Thanks to some three-point shooting by Will Richardson. Right back in it.
The power of the three ball, Chris Lewis, and you gotta love that. And of course, Fordham has really moved the basketball well, and and that in turn allows you to get some good opportunities. They've gotten out in transition and they've found people, and especially Will Richardson, who's been a huge bright spot. 3 of 3 from distance. I mean, a 3 is worth more than a 2, let's face it. If you're down, you can come back in a blink of an eye if you've got some guys that can knock it down from distance.
3 for 3 from 3. In fact, 3 of the 5 made field goals for Fordham have come from behind the arc. I mean, it's a sentence that
3 of 7 from the floor right now.
I know, not many shot attempts, turnovers have been a story for Fordham. Just a sentence I didn't expect to say this season. A win in this game for Fordham gives them a share of first place with 4 games left.
It's very impressive, and that's why we keep talking about Fordham. And Will Richardson, just a freshman, playing with a lot of poise here in a hostile environment. And he's doing a terrific job. But yes, I don't think that starting the season out, anyone would have thought that the Fordham Rams were going to be in this position, Chris. A team that has struggled for many years. And Keith Ergo comes in and he gets a couple of really good players from the transfer portal. Actually, both these teams have really won in the offseason through the transfer portal. That's been huge.
A blocking foul on Nowitzki, heading to a break, which means Jalen Deloach to the line for the 1-and-1. 58% free throw shooter. Really is a contrast. Fordham just 2 winning seasons in the A-10 since they joined the league. That's off the foot of Simbila. Will stay here. Back in 1995. For VCU, they're one of 7 teams with an active streak of more than 20 consecutive winning seasons. They've had 23 winning seasons in a row, so it's a great contrast, meeting for first place in the A-10.
Yeah, I mean, a team like Fordham, they're trying to build a program to that kind of prowess. And it starts somewhere. Nice
Deloach
seal.
gets the seal and throws it down.
What a seal. That was just tremendous right there. The ball reversal and then the seal on the opposite side.
Simbila on the other end.
But there's the response. As long as Fordham has the response, we'll keep this close.
The Bigs trading baskets. Baldwin reads the screen. Kern catches on the run. He had a great start to the game, and he's in double figures with 10.
He's been tremendous, and the way that Ace Baldwin is able to reverse the ball so quickly, I mean, he's just got the instincts.
Kern's season high is 12. Richardson, finally a miss, his first in 4 attempts. Simbila uses the pivots. Hook shot, long. Contested rebound, gobbled up by Watkins. Runs the floor, has a shooter. In and out for Zeb Jackson.
But that's what you want if you're VCU. If you can get some open looks from 3, those are ones you want to make.
More offensive foul. Deloach takes the charge. I mean, that Kern who hit the deck.
Get a little offense going here, and Fordham does a great job. That's a nice look down low. Good little bounce pass from Riley, and then the answer at the other end. And boy, have we seen a performance from Nick Kern. He's just really in the zone. Keep getting him the basketball.
The standout at Vashon High School in St. Louis, helping his high school team win 3 state titles. Not much of a scorer, but you can tell in the opening part of this game. Homecoming and senior day, by the way, for VCU. Foul on the pass.
And you know, it would mean a lot to VCU to win for the seniors at home.
Second foul on Eliza Gray. A couple of free throws, double bonus for VCU. Another sellout crowd at the Siegel Center. Jameer Watkins shooting 2 in the double bonus.
Watkins, who missed the entire 2021-22 season with a torn ACL in his left knee, finally gets a full year. He really didn't play for a couple of years there. It's only his second year of playing in general, but he can really score. He's got the touch. He's another offensive threat for them this season, that they're happy to have him back.
Mention averaging just a shade under 10 points per game. From Trenton, New Jersey, part of that balance for VCU. Quisenberry hounded, triple teamed. Gets it back somehow after it was volleyed back. Through the hands of Gray, into the backcourt, over and back.
And you see what VCU does. They get you right into that spot at the half court where you do not want to be trapped. Quisenberry stops at that area where he's got 3 players of great length all over him, and then he turns it over. Just terrific defense for VCU all over.
11 turnovers for Fordham. VCU, the stat you always look at. Turnovers forced. Already 11 forced turnovers in this game.
That's something that Mike Rhodes is happy about these last few games.
Fordham provides that pressure as well as they force 7. Watkins shovels, Deloach dribbles, patient, and lays it in.
Really nice patience there. And see, we're seeing a lot of people get touches for VCU. You see 2 or 3 players touch the basketball and then the bucket. They're sharing the ball well.
Hard to believe Deloach was on crutches after a game on Wednesday. Looks as athletic as ever here on a Saturday. Baldwin again reads it for a steal. Plays the role of playmaker. Watkins step through and lays it in. Crowder ups. Timeout Fordham.
What a competitive edge. And you just gotta love the defensive intensity right now. Baldwin Jr. forcing the turnover, then up in transition. The beautiful finish, and VCU takes the lead here.
Fordham, VCU separated by just 1 game in the standings. VCU in first place in the A-10. Fordham at a position they haven't been in quite some time. That 21-5 record. They're 21-5 or better for the first time in 52 years. So over a half a century.
It's pretty impressive. It's been a long time, and now Rose Hill is Rose Thrill. We're not there at the moment, but you win some games, boy. That Rose Hill Gymnasium is going crazy.
Well, you have Will the Thrill at guard here, and Will Richardson has been a thrill from behind the line. Already 3 made threes for his 9 points. Fordham's already turned it over 12 times, make it 13.
VCU's got 18 points off of those turnovers, so it's killing them. They've also been battling them in the paint, 22 to just 4 points in the paint.
Key moments here with Darius Quisenberry on the bench, Fordham's leading scorer. They force a turnover. Kyle Rose dogging Ace Baldwin.
You can expect to see that the entire game, but it's nothing Ace Baldwin hasn't seen all year.
3:40 to go in the half. Another block shot for VCU. Kern gets the help from Watkins.
Incredible defense. I mean, this is just a perfect example of the athleticism of this team. Watkins just skying and anticipating so well without fouling. You got to be ready for the pull-up jumper if you're playing against an athletic team like VCU. Pull up. Don't go all the way in. They're going to block your shot.
Don't go all the way in there. Fordham down 9. Baseline drive, Rose. Double team with a late shot clock. Doesn't get it off in time. Shot clock violation. VCU 31, Fordham 22, 3:16 left in the first half.
Still feels like havoc defense, that's for sure. Whatever you want to call it, VCU just making Fordham really work. They're disrupting everything they want to do. Sheer energy, will, and athleticism.
VCU looking to extend their 8-0 run, and there's a foul, and it's called on Antrell Charlton, which sends VCU back to the line for the double bonus. Second foul on Charlton. Moore also with a couple of fouls for Fordham.
Zeb Jackson will shoot a pair.
Couple of free throws for Zeb Jackson. Another lefty guard that VCU deploys. It was Jackson who hit the game winner at the buzzer in the last game against Rhode Island. Again, you don't see the score. Graphics down, so we apologize for that. Hope to get it back shortly. 3:03 to go in the first half. And VCU leads 32-22, a 10-point lead, their largest.
And see this full court pressure the Rams do the entire game, and Mike Rhodes can do that because he's got the depth. His players are healthy, he can sub, and they really, really wear teams down.
Both teams really go 10 deep if they can. Richardson contested, Jackson in his way. Shot clock down to 11. Bounce pass to a cutting Riley. He pivots around with the clock at 7. Riley from the corner lets loose a 3, way long, didn't hit the rim. Shot clock at just 1. 3 at the horn, back of the rim. VCU boards. 32-22 VCU, 2:25 to go in the first half. Watkins is fouled on the way to the rim. Another reach in. Jameer Watkins, a 70% free throw shooter, will shoot 2.
Fordham just struggling to laterally stay with VCU off the bounce, and so many of the players on the floor right now that can just take you off the bounce, that versatility, and they're having trouble moving their feet.
VCU, we highlighted it earlier in the game. 23% of their points come from the free throw line.
And they're ranked 18th nationally in free throw attempts per game, Chris. I mean, that's huge. And the 23% of their points going to the line, that's 17th highest rate in the nation in that department. So they get to the line and they score there. That's a big part of what they do. And think about it, they were 205th and 215th in those categories last year. So they have really improved at getting to the line and making them. That's because they're so athletic and they can take you off the bounce.
We're seeing the evidence in this first half. VCU by 11, nearly force another turnover. They do. Off the body of the Fordham Rams, with Kyle Rose, the last to touch.
You see just this intensity, this toughness VCU plays with. I mean, that's what I love about watching Mike Rhodes' teams. These teams at VCU, they are always tough. They're ferocious. They really intimidate teams when you come in this place. They play with that nonstop tenacity.
This is a sellout once again here in Richmond. Homecoming weekend. A lot of alumni in town. To see Nick Kern put up a season-high 12 in the first half.
picking a day to do it. A lot of people here.
Rose stumbles. Simbila regathers. Simbila can't finish. And her rebound's volleyed out of bounds. And I'll say it stays here.
See Kern here defending.
It's tough to see who was last touched by a lot of hands in there. Quisenberry hits the floor, calls timeouts. Wow, every dribble, really every thought read by the opposing defense. VCU is pouring it on. 12-0 run at the end of the first. VCU on a 12-0 run. You go back a bit farther, they've scored 15 of the game's last 17 points. Remember, this was tied at 20.
Right, and then suddenly Fordham's only scored 2 points since that juncture in the ball game, and VCU has just continued to put points on the board, and that's a recipe for a win right there. They have just smothered everything Fordham is trying to do. They can't see, and that's just a good job getting out of a tough situation for Fordham.
Yeah, still was a tip pass. The ball hit the ground uncontrolled. Rose secures it to lay it in, ending a 12-0 run.
And Mike Rhodes told us that. I mean, he said, teams say they want to play fast. They say they want to really get up after you in full court press. So we have the horses to do it. Most are not able to.
Baldwin settles, slips on a wet spot and throws it away. That's unfortunate. You'll get the mop out and make sure that that spot is dry the next time the ball goes on this end.
Yeah, you do not want to see Ace Baldwin on the floor, but yes, he slips right there. They should get the mop out.
Baldwin, every time he takes a wrong step, you kind of hold your breath. He has missed 13 games over the last couple of years, and it really is impactful when he misses time. Frustrated there with the turnover.
And that's what I love about him. He's so competitive, and yeah, this is a different animal of a team with and without Baldwin Jr. I mean, you look at the numbers, they don't lie. 70 points per game when he's on the floor. You know, one thing about him is that he is really hard on himself, and that's something that Mike Rhodes told us, that he had to sit him down and talk to him, you know, to really get his mind right after the last couple of games where he's struggled a little bit.
0 for 10 in the buzzer beater win against Rhode Island. Quisenberry tried to shovel it in the paint. Deloach, active hands. Just 6 to shoot for Fordham. Baseline throw in. Patrick Kelly climbs the ladder, can't secure it. Hooked by Simbila in and out, and none is fouled in the backcourt. Rose, a little aggressive there, and none didn't like it. Third foul on Rose.
Yeah, getting chippy for sure.
Personal foul charge number 10.
Mike Rhodes. No way. This is kind of a game that he's used to seeing on that sideline. Fouls piling up. Aggression level high.
It gets ugly.
Sloppiness, but turnovers. Well, it favors VCU these styles of games. And they've been in a double bonus for quite some time at the end of this half. Jaden Nunn averages 8.5 points per game. Zach Riley back in for Fordham.
Nunn, who's been starting since he got to this program, he's just been terrific alongside Baldwin.
On the all-rookie team in the Atlantic 10 a year ago, preseason third-team all-conference. Increases the lead to 13 with the shot clock turned off. Richardson gets it across the timeline. Nunn not giving any room. Team high 9 for Richardson in the first half. Tries to turn the corner to 9. And then a step out of bounds. Zach Riley's heel on the sideline with 4.4 left.
That's where you want to get back, because you want to try to score before halftime. But a good timeout here from VCU, and again, really good defense, and that is a good call. You got to know where you are on the floor, and that's where the biggest mistake is, over on that side of the floor, because the court is a little shorter, and you can sometimes lose your thought and where you are.
Well, Nick Kern for VCU has provided the unexpected offensive boost in this first half.
And he's also done it on the defensive end there. You saw him getting hands involved. He's getting a tip on things, and those positions on the floor help him to score on the other end, and he's really just been terrific. Looking for his shot, playing with assertiveness, and they're finding it.
We're doing a lot of looking ahead to Brooklyn, the conference tournament. How tough is it to prepare for VCU on like a short notice in a tournament setting?
I think that's what's tough. As you look at Nick Kern's stats, he averages 4 a game. He's got 12 right now. Pick your poison.
Watkins gets it off. Just misses. That does it for the first half. VCU 37-24. They dominated the end of that first half. The first half stats. You can see it, 21 points off turnovers, the 16 giveaways for the Rams. And it's not like Fordham's making up for it, shooting a high percentage. They're just shooting 30%.
They're not getting anything from Quisenberry right now, nothing from Moore. They need those two players in the second half to step it up, because VCU ended that first half on a 17-4 run, and the game was tied. That means they had a huge drought for the rest of the first half there.
It was a 3-point barrage by Will Richardson to tie the game up at 20 for Fordham, but after that moment, VCU went into lockdown mode. Rams versus Rams for first place in the Atlantic 10, a spot VCU has. Fordham a game back. Dayton, St. Louis also in that group at the top.
We'll see if Fordham has a response. They had to settle down in the locker room at halftime, try to take care of the ball this half.
Quisenberry steps into a 3 and rattles it down. That's his first field goal of the game for the team's leading scorer at 17 a contest coming in.
And typically in environments like this, he does pretty well. He's struggled here today to get any good looks, so a good start to the second half here.
Watkins, collision, no call. The basket doesn't fall, and here comes Fordham. Quisenberry pounded, and it's out of bounds.
Quisenberry's continuing to go to this spot on the floor, and they're double teaming him. He's having a hard time getting out of it. It's not a good spot on the floor, but here to start the half, a great little pull-up, maybe get him going, and that rhythm to start. They need some more out of him offensively.
When we say it, you have to limit the turnovers, have to avoid giving the ball away. But it's easier said than done. Like, what are some of the things that you can do to limit the turnovers? Speaking of, one for VCU.
For me, the pass moves quicker than the dribble. If you can break the pressure by passing the ball, you'll get the ball out of situations that are tough. I don't love where Quisenberry's continuing to catch the ball or dribble it too. You're going right over half court. That's the perfect spot to be doubled and triple teamed. There's been tons of turnovers in that area of the court. You've got to avoid that.
A freshman handling the ball against this press, and Richardson tried to do it himself. Didn't work.
And also, just be poised. You got to be patient. Like you said, it's easier said than done. VCU does this to everyone.
Brandon Johns Jr. battled foul trouble. 2 early fouls in the first half. His first bucket here today.
And they didn't even have Johns Jr. most of that half, and they still extended this lead.
Second leading scorer on the team, just over 12 per game. First 2. Quisenberry sees double, floats it. Charlton turns down to 3 in the corner. Kern got his hand on it as it goes out of bounds.
And Brandon Johns Jr. back in the ball game after missing most of the first half with foul trouble. Good job here one-on-one with the finish. And he's just another extremely versatile player for VCU. He can go inside, he can go out. He played 4 seasons at Michigan where he helped them go to 3 NCAA tournaments, another experienced player. And Coach Rhodes said, I mean, he said it to us. I mean, he would do anything for that guy. Loves coaching him.
Richardson, before the shot clock expires, didn't hit anything. Not a shot clock violation as the rebound was controlled by Watkins, pushed to the ground. Fordham has to watch the fouls. Charlton, that's his third.
That is his third personal. Team foul number 1 on Fordham.
Yeah, lots of reaching going on here, and they're calling it.
In Fordham lineup is number 10.
Kyle Rose reinserted. Charlton heads out with the 3 fouls. Baldwin just so calm with the ball. Crossover to get to the rim. Leaves it for Watkins, who wasn't expecting. Hey, when you play with the player who's second in the A-10 in assists, got to have your hands ready.
That's right. You've got to definitely be ready. And Baldwin can score, but he is a pass-first guy. He's just super quick. Sometimes he out-quicks, if that's a word, his teammates.
Moore, he's been quiet. Averages 15 per game. He had early fouls. He's blocked by Kern. What a two-way performance for Nick Kern Jr. Not just defense, but offense here today. The PGA Tour's biggest hitters and stars head to LA for the Genesis Invitational tomorrow, 1 Eastern on Golf Channel and Peacock. As soon as the ball inbounded, a foul called on Ace Baldwin, which just goes to show you what kind of game this is. You blink for a minute, you might miss a steal or a foul.
Yeah, it's true. It has been one of those games. Fast pace, up tempo.
Right there, Kern tips away the inbounds.
They've got hands everywhere. You've got to use a lot of ball fakes, a lot of head fakes, pass fakes.
Nowitzki with the body as Nunn crashes to the ground, and Nunn will head to the line.
Nowitzki finds his way defensively, doesn't he? He's always got a piece of the basketball as well. He's got impeccable timing. But Nunn getting to the line.
Jaden Nunn, a 71% free throw shooter. Sophomore from Flint, Michigan.
Number 4, Jalen Deloach.
Jalen Deloach comes back in. A usual starter, did not start this game. Jameer Watkins heads to the bench. Abdu Sabila comes in for Fordham at the big spot as Rostik Nowitzki gets a break. A lot of Michigan connections on this VCU team. You have Nunn from Flint, Michigan. Johns Jr. and Jackson, Michigan transfers. The director of basketball operations, Jimmy Martelli, his dad, Phil, on the staff at Michigan. Longtime coach at St. Joe's.
Zeb and Brandon Johns were roommates at Michigan. Kind of had a reasoning for each of them coming.
Quisenberry misses a 3. Rebound vacuumed in by Jaden Nunn. Fires ahead. Deloach there is rejected. Sabila right to Baldwin, who buries it.
Add that to your highlight reel, Zabila. Wow.
Richardson the response. Yes, sir.
That's a 3-point goal by Will Richardson.
That's how Fordham can get back in it, down 14. Need Richardson to get hot. That's already his 4th 3.
Yeah, you got to continue the defense and then the push to offense. And Richardson's been the bright spot offensively. They have not been able to get offense elsewhere.
Personal foul is charged to number 1, Will Richardson. That's his second.
Second foul on Richardson. That Richardson, look at him. He's made 4 threes, 4 for 6 from distance. He's made 4 of Fordham's 9 field goals in this game. They've only made 9 baskets.
Yeah, they just have not been able to get any good looks, no opportunities, nothing off the bounce, because every time they get in the lane, they're getting blocks. They're getting shots blocked. Excuse me.
That's Simbila for Fordham. He has 3 blocks of his own, but VCU block shots as a team. That one was more of the unforced turnover variety.
And they're turning it over too much to even get an opportunity to score.
Johns Jr. can't finish inside. He was open. Ball in front of him. Tips it to Kern. Navigates around Rose to lay it in.
Nick Kern. MVP Nick today.
New career high, 14 points. He came in averaging just 4. More lobs. Ace right on the spot.
I mean, they're just forcing everything. VCU just making them play faster.
Deloach wrestles with Riley, turns and lays it halfway in, pops out, gets it back. No. Finally rebound. Gobbled up by Fordham.
Oh man, VCU just relentless on the glass.
Moore spinning like a top, losing the balance, might be dizzy. Throws it in the air, ball win, lost ahead of the pack. Crossover for Jackson, layup with the left, it's true. Timeout for Fordham. Coach Keith Ergo sees his team down 18. This place can get loud. It's another sellout at the Siegel Center. Letting the VCU crowd tell the story. The team's up 18 points. They've dominated since late first half. Meanwhile, Quisenberry for Fordham can't get going.
He's really had a hard time. He's got 4 turnovers. He's 1 of 5 from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3. He's just not been able to get himself in rhythm and get himself going. They've been smothering him, double teaming him, but even some of these errors, they're unforced. There's no one even around him and he's turning it over. It's just really causing him to chalk it up quite a bit. He averages 17 a game, and that's what VCU does. They just disrupt. They make you play so much faster than you're used to playing. And that's been a problem here for Quisenberry. They don't have an answer.
He's been so good down the stretch of Atlantic 10 play, really helping this Fordham team to heights they haven't seen. And you can spin it a half century. I mean, they're 21-5. This is their best record since 1971, 26 games into a season. He's been a big part of it, just hasn't worked so far in this game. Fordham out of the timeout, another poke. The deflections, we don't have a counter on that, but I can only imagine how high the total was. Zeb Jackson got that deflection. Shot clock down to 5. Step back for Rose mid-range. It's perfect. He needed it. And then a foul on Rose immediately after. And that's the 4th on Rose. That's a big call here with 14-13 to go in the second half, with Fordham looking to come from behind. It might not exactly be Hawaii, but Richmond, pretty good. Great day outside. Temperature around 50 degrees, sunny skies. Now Fordham got a basket before the break with Kyle Rose, but then perhaps a mistake on the inbounds commits his 4th foul.
Yeah, we look back here and right there, you see Ace Baldwin goes down, and it's just been one of those days where it's just been so tough. 4 points, 4 fouls for Kyle Rose, who's been, you mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, their best defender. I mean, he covered Yuri Collins, St. Louis's top dog, who entered that game leading the NCAA, in assists and all that stuff. I mean, Yuri is just incredible, and he held him down, and he's just having a tough time here today, staying out of foul trouble with such a tough VCU offense here.
Fordham on with the press out of the stoppage, down 16, and VCU, no problems getting it across the timeline. Is that true, the cliche, pressing teams don't like to be pressed?
I don't know that it's true. I think they're used to the frenetic pace in general, and they practice their press at practice. So I think they're used to going up against it, and they have a pretty deep team where they can run a lot of guys at practice. Mike Rhodes even told us that today. So I don't believe that. I don't buy that. I think they're a team that can break the pressure pretty well. And they take care of the ball. That's one huge attribute of VCU this year.
Oh, if that's not a symbol on the day for Fordham. Simbila, the throwdown goes in and out. Quisenberry, athletic play to reach behind his shoulder to force the steal. I feel like if that Fordham comeback's going to happen, got to start it now. Gray for three, shorts, and a great box out down low for Jalen Deloach of VCU. Michigan transfer Jackson on an island with Simbila. Up fake. Shriver, three.
That penetration and pitch game. David Shriver, we saw him knock down 5 or 6 in a row this morning at shoot around. That is a player who can certainly put him in from distance.
Transfer from Hartford as Quisenberry hits the ground hard. David Shriver spent a couple of years playing D2 ball in West Virginia.
Now this is what he does best, and the penetration and pitch, he's already there. A nice stroke, he's ready, his feet are set, and they're all loving it.
Three in the air from the bench. Shriver, a fan favorite here. In fact, they had a promotion for an earlier home game this year where they did a mustache giveaway.
That's great. Yeah, you know, he's got a real interesting story too. I mean, he started out at Division II and then transferred to Hartford, and then as soon as he got to Hartford announced that they were dropping down to Division III, and so now he's here at VCU. What a story. Just circuitous is the word.
Reber, David Shriver.
Yeah, you gotta love his stash. Come on. That's in now.
That's the thing in the NIL era that we're in right now. Anything you could do to stand out from the crowd a little bit, why not?
That's right.
Create your brand. Shriver, his brand is threes. Oh, yeah.
There you go. On cue.
The hair flopping, that mustache shining. The three-pointer is wet, and VCU's up 20.
I love the adjectives.
Charlton chisels, bounces Nowitzki, tied up, held ball. The arrow keeps it here with Fordham.
Possession to Fordham.
David Shriver heating up, 46% from three in A10 play.
And you got to get him the basketball. And this is a nice job relocating. And it's happened when the ball has gone inside. But this is what I mean about the weapons. Whoever Mike Rhodes puts in, there's a specialty involved. And you got to love that little hair flowing as well.
He even did like the head flick.
He's ready. I love it. I think that was more get my hair out of my face flick.
Nowitzki gets Johns out of his face with a gorgeous spin.
Listen, Shriver hit 6 of 7 threes in the second half alone against Dayton this season. That guy can score.
Off the foot of Nowitzki, will stay here where we return. David Shriver is taking over in the second half.
Now you got to get him the basketball, and he certainly knows how to drop him from distance.
During the last break, it is homecoming weekend for VCU, and see a lot of the alumni gathered, including some significant figures, and Eric Maynor, Vince Williams, Mo Alley Cox, some of the recent basketball standouts. Also, they spent time honoring Dr. Charles McLeod, one of the first African-American players ever to play for VCU, and a significant figure in improving the life of African Americans at Virginia Commonwealth University. Here in Black History Month, great to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Charles McLeod.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. There's some incredible people that have come out of this program in the history, and it's just kind of cool when you look at them all in a row like that.
Yeah.
And coming to celebrate today, and boy, are they seeing quite a show from this VCU team. They're playing really hard.
Well, the theme going into this game from Coach Mike Rhodes, 5 battles left to win the war. The war being the A10 regular season crown. Zeb Jackson, perhaps a general into the lane there and laying it in with the left. And They're about a few minutes away, 10, 11 minutes away from making it 4 more battles as they have a 20-point lead.
And he told us they're taking it one game at a time, and that's smart. That's what you have to do. You don't want to look too far. You want to have a goal. Your competitors, that's what you do going into the season, but it's one game at a time mentality. As Fordham finally knocks another one down. Will Richardson, the only one putting up significant buckets.
His 5th three, ball batted towards us. Charlton sent it away from Jameer Watkins. JBB, you got back to your playing days there. You almost got to catch and shoot.
From here, baby. I got this.
Former standout at Marist, Julianne Vianney-Brain. Chris Lewis with you here on USA. Thanks so much for spending part of your Saturday afternoon with us. As Jaden Nunn hammered to the ground, and he'll head to the line. VCU living at the charity stripe.
That is textbook VCU basketball. And they are able to get to the rim. They've got so many players that can really break you down. But then they've got some shooters too. So this is a team that's got so much ability offensively. In January, you really saw their offense humming. But Coach Rhodes has really enjoyed this group.
See right there, top 20 in the nation in free throw attempts per game. Top 20 in percentage of points from the free throw line. One of 2. Quisenberry has struggled here today. See if there's still time for him to get it going. Fordham's top scorer at 17 points per game. Shriver defending more. Draws a triple T, and Richardson left open, and that's the guy you don't leave open if you're VCU. A rare miss.
Oh, basically VCU did not allow the top 2 dogs for Fordham to play well, and they're letting Richardson beat them, and it's not enough.
They call that Fordham possession. John strutting back down the other end. He lost it. He says, don't bother arguing. Let's get back on defense as Fordham takes over. Quisenberry out of Springfield, Ohio. Spent 3 years at Youngstown State, filling it up in the Horizon League. Charlton, team leader in assists, cut off. Defense from Watkins. Moore drives baseline, tries to sneak it up. Shriver holds up defensively. Watkins, long strides, pivots, bumped, fades. No.
I nearly made the shot. I thought it got bumped.
Quisenberry turns down to 3, skates inside and lays it in.
And that's one of the easiest shots Quisenberry's had all day. He's been really swarmed and finally puts one up and gets on the board again.
Watkins fires the 3, back of the rim, and the ball's out of bounds. Last touch from VCU.
Quisenberry, as we've harped on, as it's been a hard offensive battle, and we haven't seen too much of the run game get going for Fordham, but he gets to the rim here at ease.
9:36 left, and the lead was 20, down to 16. Little fresh bodies come in on each side. Deloach back in for VCU. Sabila in for Fordham.
Fordham will come back and look at this film and see the 20 turnovers. There's still over 9 minutes to go. And that's where they're going to have to clean it up moving forward.
Overhead, Riley blocked. Kern again. Perhaps the game of the season for Nick Kern. Lays it up. Out a slam. Jalen Deloach on their head.
They're putting on a show here, Chris. And this is a team, when I look at this team right now in person, this is a team that you don't want to play in the NCAA tournament. They are really dangerous.
Deloach perhaps a spot in the dunk contest in his future. I know the NBA has their dunk contest later on today. Bean way short, might have been tipped. Johns lost it, but was bumped. Quisenberry guilty of the foul. Started with the block from Kern. Deloach on the opposite end with the dunk.
Jalen Deloge, Coach Rhodes told us he's matured in so many ways. Well, I'll talk about maturity. There we go. Putting on a show. Really great teamwork and passing. And he just plays above the rim.
Sophomore from Savannah, Georgia. Coach Mike Rose just raised about the improvement that he's made since the offseason to where he is now.
And he said he has that competitiveness that Ace Baldwin has. The two of them, it's just something that you cannot teach. And he gets a little too emotional sometimes, but he prefers that over having no emotion. And he plays with passion, and he's just been helping.
It's a dunk contest for Deloach. Just trying to one-up himself at this point.
Makes it look easy.
He grew 7 inches, Jalen Deloach, between his freshman year and his sophomore year of high school. Baldwin so good at that rear view poke. Almost a steal. Quisenberry off balance, and Coach Rhodes just can't believe a whistle there as Quisenberry checks out his elbow. VCU leads by 20.
Playing pretty well. I mean, I think the A-10 tournament is going to be so up for grabs this year. I've never seen it so top to bottom, where the bottom team can beat the top. It's just really exciting. Coming up at Barclays Center.
You'll be there.
Yep.
So I want to ask all the analysts of A-10 basketball, when every team, let's say, plays their best game, which is the best team?
I think VCU is probably the best team. I mean, clearly Dayton is always up there. But to me, from just eyeballing VCU, and they are just so dangerous. They are the best team in the league.
But it's funny because I've heard other analysts say Dayton. I've heard other analysts say St. Louis. You're saying VCU. That's what's going to make Brooklyn fun.
That's look at the records. They're all very similar records, and I think it will be so fun. You know, it's who's going to play their best ball at that juncture. That's what I love about the conference tournaments, is you just never know.
Of course, the second round and the quarterfinals will be here on USA.
Look what Richmond did last year. I mean, they just went off and went all the way to the tournament, and they played well even when they got to the NCAA tournament. I mean, it's just really pretty incredible.
Couple of free throws, and 1-and-1 for Ace Baldwin. .82% free throw shooter. Again, with Ace, you want to make sure he's healthy. You can see the tapes on his wrist. He missed some times, 4 games this year with a wrist injury. 13 missed games the last 2 years. He had an Achilles injury before a season ago.
That's where it all starts, Chris. Who's healthy near the end of the season? And you want to be playing your best basketball in February and March, but you got to be healthy as a team.
It was a scary-looking injury for Jalen Deloach against Rhode Island for VCU. Rose, 3, short.
Mike Rhodes told us that's happened 3 times with him this season, and he's been okay. He's like, I don't know what's up. I don't know how he just magically got better after that one.
Looks more than healthy in this game, looking like a pogo stick underneath the basket with his dunks. Josh Banks in and travels. Josh Banks, a junior from Charlotte. Coach Mike Rhodes said he really helped us in that game against Rhode Island. Starters just didn't have it for whatever reason. Turned to the bench, provided that lift late. Remember, VCU was down 13 with 12 minutes left against Rhode Island.
They came back.
Needed that comeback with the buzzer beater by Zeb Jackson.
Those are the things that really make me think that VCU is a team to beat, because it's not easy to come back in the second half like that after you haven't played well. They just know how to win.
Gray off balance, Dean with the follow-up. Those both off the mark. Richardson, most of his work's been behind the three-point line. That's his first 2-pointer of the game. But they don't get back. Banks lost it all the way up, but gets fouled on the way down. That's one where Fordham would like to have back, because Banks just beat him down the floor.
Yeah, excellent just job getting down the floor like a deer. I mean, everything these VCU players do, they just do fast.
Could it be like a ram? You said like a deer.
Like a deer or like a ram, yeah. That's probably a little bit better to.
We have a lot of rams here.
We do. Running rams.
Banks is first.
But you're right about the fact that Coach Rhodes can really go to anyone. He's gotten players. We looked at that game against URI, and Jeb Jackson was he was the player that made the game-winning shot in that one. He's not their top scorer, but that's what's going to make this team so hard. He said Zeb Jackson's been like a shot in the arm. He could play at pace.
Richardson, laser short. Deloach vacuums it in. VCU by 20. This game was tied at 20. 17-2 run for VCU to open it up. None. Contested off balance short. Quisenberry examines, zooms, barrels. Count the basket.
He'll take it.
There's an and one coming up for Quisenberry.
Yeah, Quisenberry starting to get his rhythm, a little nice hesitation, move to the basket, absorbs that contact. That's what they need a little more of throughout this game, and it's too little, too late, most likely. Although there's still quite a bit of time left. He's got to continue to play in attack mode.
He's up to 13 points, which is 4 shy of his average, but sometimes goes to show you not all 17-point games are the same.
Right. And he's a player that he came close this year to the first ever triple-double in Fordham history against Holy Cross, but he's really just been solid all season. Today's been tough.
Get a couple more 4-point possessions. He could breathe right back in this game. Quisenberry with 4 on the last possession. Has the ball in his hands once again. Kern on the defense. It's a fun matchup throughout the game. Kern's gotten the better of it. Rose, double teamed, spins, rifles, Dean launches long, and Deloach corrals.
That would have been a dagger. That would have really brought this thing a little closer. Fordham is staying with it. They're continuing to hustle here.
Almost seems unnatural for VCU to slow it down. Usually play with so much pace. Jackson, big hop step into the lane, showing off the muscle. He spent time in the weight room.
Yeah, what a quick first step from Jackson. Just tremendous job getting the rim. See, in the half court, they can succeed because they've got players that can go downhill off the bounce.
Lefty Rose pops out. Johns gobbles it up. Jackson skips ahead. Rose sneaks from behind. Jackson didn't see Rose. Attacks the rack and lays it in and one.
That's what Fordham typically can do to teams, and they haven't been able to do it enough against VCU to be successful, but this steal right here, just poaching, Rose does a great job creating this opportunity in transition. That's a tough shot, too. Rose
He's a
is
lefty, but he was definitely right-hand dominant going to that right-hand
really nice shot. And that's 17 VCU turnovers now, and Fordham is actually taking care of the ball. Since I last said it, at the 9-minute mark, they had 20 turnovers. They still just have 20.
It's interesting with Rose. So he shoots lefty. That layup was a clear indication that he favors the right hand going to the rim. He wears the shooter sleeve on his right arm.
He's that good with both arms, both hands.
He's just trying to play tricks.
Listen, you can be ambidextrous. Such a good thing in sports, right?
15-point game, 4:30 left. Baldwin tries to turn the corner. Nowitzki right on the hedge to make it difficult. John's double team is hacked. Let's see if that's on the shot or a pass. He passed the ball. They have some bumping, some shoving. Captains gathering each team and telling them, hey, settle down here. Don't want to do anything silly late. Or early, for that matter.
Yeah, just getting physical and chippy. Nothing unusual there.
It's the 9th team foul. I didn't see whether they called that in the act or on the pass. It looked like to me it was passing. I did see it signaled by Tim Lomer, 1-1 for Johns. And there's a signaled 1-1 as well from the sideline. Fordham and Keith Ergo. What a story, though. He joined Villanova, the video staff position back in 2007. Worked his way up, become an assistant there. Moved over to Penn State. Johns hits the free throw. But coaching not the only jobs that Keith Ergo has held. He's just 42 years old. Keith Ergo's worked in hotel management, worked in real estate, worked as a teacher.
He's done it all.
This coaching thing.
And a parent. He's got 4 kids, and he's one of 10 children himself, which is, boy, he knows how to manage. Let's put it that way.
He's the 8th of 10.
That's where he gets the real awards.
He said that the house had plenty of bathrooms, though.
That's right.
There was some competition there. Although all the siblings heavily involved in sports, competitive family. Quisenberry off balance, off the rim. Ace Baldwin Jr. almost hit it. John spins and gets fouled. Double bonus. So 2 free throws for Brandon Johns Jr. VCU 4-13 away from going to 11-3. And Mike Rhodes, in his 6th year here, has had VCU right on the doorstep of winning the A-10 regular season title, seemingly annually. Well, they haven't won since 2019, looking for their 3rd ever A-10 regular season title. They won the tournament back in 2015 before he was the coach.
He was coach of the year, 2018-19. He's really just taken this program, though, to new heights since he's really been here. And he's gotten his players to really buy in to his style. He's got a real specific style of play, and he recruits those types of players.
And that unique style, it's really been with multiple coaches for VCU. Of course, Rhodes was an assistant during that run where they got a lot of national attention.
The Shaka Smart and all that.
From 09 to 2014, out of bounds will belong to VCU. 2011 Final Four. That's the highlight of VCU. Trying to make a run here in the A-10. Leading by 17.
I'm sure.
He's hanging out with one of the best bands in the A-10. They put on a show for this sellout crowd at the Siegel Center. Darius Quisenberry has put together a much more complete second half. Really struggled in that first half for Fordham.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a much better second half. They've needed that from him, and it's really been as of late here where he's been able to find his rhythm and stop turning it over so much. I think as a team, that's where they've really obviously struggled, but it's been a tough game for him. He's had to take a lot of hits. He really hasn't shot bad. He just hasn't taken a lot of shots. He's 4 of 9, and then 1 of 4 from 3. He's gotten to the free throw line. That's where it's been a bonus, Quisenberry.
Johns Jr. will head to the line here. Yeah, Quisenberry, preseason all-conference 3rd team, which, you know, for a Fordham player to get a preseason all-conference accolade, you know he's a talented player, and he's lived up to the billing throughout the year. For a Fordham team that came in one of 3 A-10 teams with 4 losses, 1 game back of VCU, 1 game up on Duquesne for that top 4 spot, which is key because the top 4 gets the double bye,
yeah,
in the A-10 tournament.
Big. First 20-win season since 1990. We've harped on that too. You can't say enough about what they've done. Just coming up a bit short here against the tough VCU squad.
Former #1 recruit in the state of Michigan hits a free throw. Brandon Johns Jr. Fordham team that has Loyola Chicago up next on the road. foul as Rose trying to chisel his way inside.
Personal foul charge to number 24.
Rhode Island, George Mason, and that last game on Fordham's schedule in the regular season against Duquesne. That's going to be a big one for deciding that top 4.
Yeah, no gimmies. Nothing's going to be easy to finish out here. You know, every night is a battle.
Matchup on USA against Rhode Island next week. It's another Rams versus Rams.
That's right.
In the Atlantic 10.
Have fun. Are you calling that one?
No, not me. Won't be me. VCU back-to-back games of Rams versus Rams. Looking to sweep the Rams. Going to top the Rams standings. Ace Baldwin double team, somehow fires it ahead. Kern gets fouled, and that doesn't highlight the playmaking ability of the 6'1" junior from Baltimore, Ace Baldwin Jr. I don't know what does.
I mean, seriously, look at this vision. He splits the defense and still finds Kern down low. Unbelievable.
In Brooklyn, I want to see a passing competition between Baldwin and Yuri Collins of St. Louis.
Yeah, I think that would be a terrific, terrific matchup. An all-star matchup.
Yuri Collins is the nation's leader in assists, averaging, I think, back over 10. It dipped under this past week at 9.9. Looking to become, I believe, the 5th player to average a points assist double-double.
Really is incredible. He can see the floor like better than anyone in the country. But Ace Baldwin is not far behind him in that regard. I mean, they are both very similar in that regard.
They're 1 and 2 in the A-10 in assists. Brandon Johns Jr. had 2 early fouls.
There's just been lots of fouls. I think every time down the floor we've had a foul call.
I believe Coach Mike Rhodes wanted a timeout. He gets it. Timeout with 2:51 to go. VCU leading by 19. Thanks in large part to an expected performance and an unexpected performance for the VCU Rams. Nick Kern, the unexpected contributor, 15 points, a new career high. He came in with just 4 points a contest. And Ace Baldwin right on his season average, helping out with 8 assists.
Yeah, the play of Nick Kern, we can't even say enough about. He just came out guns a-blazing from the absolute get-go. It was like VCU did not want Fordham to be in this game from the very start.
Ace Baldwin in this game, 6 steals as well, not pictured on that last graphic. So Watkins, wow! Over the top, high and hard.
Incredible. Just above the rim, and Watkins has had some real pretty ones.
Step through move, dances off the rim. Gray gets it back, floats it in. But going back to Baldwin and his steals, 6 of them, moving to the number 9 spot.
You know how hard that is?
6 of them in a game is a boatload.
Crazy.
But he passed Eric Maynor, who's in attendance for VCU on the all-time VCU steals list. One more look. Watkins.
Pretty.
Replacing Brandon Johns Jr.
Out of Trenton Catholic, Trenton, New Jersey.
Still a young player with so much potential to continue to grow and mature under Mike Rhodes. I mean, they really just need him to rebound and play defense. That makes them a lot better. But when he can do things like that, he'll take it.
Fordham fouls continue to just pile up. So we highlighted this earlier. Turnovers committed, turnovers for his last 5 games. Turnovers committed sky high. I know Mike Rose won't like that, but turnovers forced.
And that's what Fordham does to you too. They do force turnovers. Now, Fordham wasn't able to score off those. You look at the number, 12 points, not so much. But 26 points for VCU off those turnovers, because so many of Fordham's turnovers were live ball turnovers. They were just put in positions where it was just so easy for VCU to capitalize off those bad passes.
It is the recipe for VCU. Like in this game, other than that stretch for Shriver early second half, it's not like VCU shot the lights out.
No, great. They didn't have to. I mean, everything was at the rim. I think they took what the defense gave them, and they were able to just go downhill and take it off the bounce at will.
Almost shows you the luxury of VCU and Coach Rhodes. Shriver had that stretch early in the second half where he hit those threes. We really haven't seen him a lot in the second half. Watkins with the exclamation point. You know, with 3-and-D players hit threes and play good defense. He's a 3-and-D player, make threes and get dunks.
Yeah, that's right. Get dunks, baby. That's right.
Zach Riley connects.
I mean, this VCU squad just puts on a show, and they do, and that's a nice response from Riley. But they put on a show, literally. People want to come watch the kind of offense they like that.
Somewhere in the crowd, they're holding up 10s. Dunk contest in the NBA's later on today. 10s on the dunks for VCU. Largest lead of the game.
Now they're just having some fun, Chris. And what a performance from this young man right here. Kern just killing it. He's having fun. Just throw it up. We're going to score.
17 points for Nick Kern Jr. Fordham had held 7 of their last 9 opponents below their season average in scoring. That's not the case. VCU has put up 80. They averaged 70. Upcoming for the VCU Rams. St. Joe's in Philly Tuesday. Richmond and the rivalry matchup. St. Louis will be an important game in the standings, and then a finale at GW on USA.
Few more to go here in the regular season. Hard to believe, right? We're into March almost.
So it'll be 4 more battles to win the war for Coach Mike Rhodes. Will Richardson, he's been a standout performer for Fordham.
He really has. He's been the bright spot for the Fordham Rams today.
Over 7,000 in attendance. Most of them get on their feet as the VCU Rams try to close it out. Travel called. Impressive showing for VCU. Again, these are 2 teams that were separated by just 1 game for first.
VCU came to play, and they had the crowd behind them. Richardson is just continuing to pour it in.
New career high for the freshman. 21 points. They want Arnold Henderson to shoot it. Got the walk on, a spot in the box score. Not the case. He'll dribble it out. VCU dominant. 80-61 to remain in first place in the Atlantic 10. 20 wins.